It's another edition of Newsline, another opportunity for mind-blowing stories that are impactful. I am Jennifer Igwe. Now, DNA tests can confirm paternity and amplify one's heritage and ancestry. In this wise, DNA can be said to be science gifts to families and the world. However, sometimes the result can be a bolt from the blue that can make partners and families, individuals, wish they caged their spirit of curiosity and doubt. We have a feature on this with a question: are you sure it's something you should do? Well, something we must and should do endlessly is to honor our war heroes and members of the armed forces who have and still go the extra mile to keep and protect the sovereignty of our nation and keep us safe. Beyond the ceremonies of the Armed Forces Remembrance Day annually, what of their families and those who survived the extreme cold of the war? It's something you must watch. We have an update on the retired nurse in Makurdi and her domestic staff who were murdered at home. Why such gruesome act? Find out in a report later. Plus, we have stories on hearts that have decided to beat as one. Hearts of who? Well, before I spill all, let me pause here for the news segment. And my colleague Claire Adelabu Abdurazak in Abuja is waiting. Hello Claire, nice to see you as usual.
Thank you. Good evening and welcome to the new studios here in Abuja, and we begin with some cheering news. The Inspector General of Police Special Intervention Squad on FCT Security says it will close down all kidnapping routes across the territory to decimate threats, restore confidence and security. Commander of the squad, Commissioner of Police Bennett Igwe, gave the assurance as the team patrolled the Biazing and Kuchungwe roads. Onoto Yakubu was there.
It was an all-out cavalry with the intent to take the war to the camps of the enemies. First, the team traveled through the Kubwa-Biazing axis to link the motorable parts of the forests. From this spot, the rest of the journey was done on foot. They scouted through the various parts across the forests into the mountains. And the reason is not far-fetched.
Because this is the route. Once they kidnap within this Kubwa axis, they have to climb like this. Because this is from where they go to Niger or Kaduna. So this is from where they go. This is their route. So we want to block their route. Then we are going there now to see if we can fetch any other route.
After several hours in the mountains, the trail went cold. The squad then focused attention at Kuchibui on the northwest, where the commander interacted with members of the community on identifying hazards. For CP Bennett Igwe and his men, this war to secure the nation's capital is a must-win and a goal they are totally committed to. In Abuja, Onoto Yakubu, NTA News.
Well done to our fighting men there. Now, air component of Operation Well Punch has also neutralized well-known terrorist and kingpin kidnap, popularly known as January, as well as several of the members of his syndicate, now liberating hostages in the course of the operation. NAF Director of Public Relations, Air Vice Marshal Edward Gabwet, says January and his cohorts were responsible for several attacks and abductions within Kaduna State and along the Abuja-Kaduna Highway. The airstrikes were authorized after January and his gang were sighted at the location near Gadakatako in Igabi local government area of Kaduna State, massing up for a likely attack or kidnapping of civilians. Now, several hostages were liberated after the operation. Intelligence received after the strike revealed that January was eliminated alongside several other terrorist kidnap pairs. Similar airstrikes were also carried out on terrorists and kidnappers' hideouts near Chukuba in Niger State with various degrees of success. And victims of Gidandang explosion in Giwa local government area of Kaduna State are responding to treatment at the Ahmadu Bello University Teaching Hospital in Zaria. Correspondent Lawal Salih reports that the casualties are pupils of Quranic school in Gidandang.
Here are the remaining 5 victims of a suspected explosive device last Saturday afternoon at Kidendem village receiving treatment. One of them was confirmed dead less than an hour after their arrival, while 3 of them were discharged at the time of compiling this report. A 16-year-old Awal Ibrahim, who came to the school just 2 weeks ago from Saulawa village of Birinungwag local government, said a group of pupils brought the unidentified device from a bush on their way to fetch firewood.
As they brought it to the school, a pin was removed from it, and as it falls down, it just exploded. I'm feeling better now.
The remaining victims with shrapnel to various parts of their bodies will remain in the hospital until they are stable. The unfortunate incident will no doubt make another unforgotten history in the life of Awal Ibrahim, whose parents transferred him from another school a few weeks ago. Lawal Sallau, NTA News.
And to Ibadan now, the federal government says it is awaiting the outcome of a forensic investigation ordered to ascertain the actual cause of the tragic explosion that rocked Ibadan, or your state capital, last week. At the last Federal Executive Council meeting, President Bola Tinubu constituted an interministerial committee led by Dr. Dele Alake to come up with a blueprint to effectively and efficiently secure solid minerals, forest and marine economy, which constitute Nigeria's natural resources. Dele Alake had, in a message of condolence to the families of victims, commended Oyo State government for mobilizing relief response. He also indicated that the ministry has deployed 9 inspectorate officers to the scene of the explosion to join other security agencies to unravel the cause of the explosion to avert recurrence. Dr. Alake says there will be an expanded meeting with heads of security agencies which will assist the committee in getting the requisite inputs that will guide it in turning in a robust report to the President. The minister assures Nigerians that the federal government is committed to addressing challenges from the root before making a definite pronouncement. That way, the people are better informed, culprits can be brought to book, and concerted efforts will be in place to avoid recurrence. And Minister of Defense Mohammed Badru Abubakar joins Governor Umaru Namadi of Jigawa in laying the foundation stone for the construction of more than 1,000 houses in 8 local government areas of the state. Mohammed Musa Askira reports that the event marks the beginning of the mass housing scheme the state governor plans to implement in the light of the rising cost of accommodation in that state.
The 1,500 houses will be spread across Dutse, Hadeja, Gumel, Kazaure, Ringim, Babura, Birnin-Kudu and Kafin Hausa local governments. This, the government says, are the most congested towns where demands for accommodations is high by the residents. The Minister of Defense, Muhammad Badru Abubakar, who is also the guest of honor at the event, says with the level of developments undertaken by the Umar Namadi administration, the future of Jigawa State is not only bright but also promising. Governor Umar Namadi notes that the project will be funded by the Jigawa State government, but plans are underway to engage other development partners on public-private partnership PPP for other phases of the construction of affordable houses for the residents in the state.
With all the developments that are going on in Jigawa State, I am sure he will do better than what I have done.
We shall be able to make houses affordable and accessible to the people of Jigawa State.
On his part, the Emir of Dutse, Muhammad Hamim Sanusi, appeals to the minister to facilitate the establishments of more military formations in the state for enhanced security. Meanwhile, a banquet was held in honor of the former state governor Muhammad Badru Abubakar, who was entering the state for the first time since his appointment as Minister of Defense. From Dutse, Muhammad Musa Askira, NTA News.
An empowerment has come the way of people of Karushi community who are hosting displaced persons in their community. Now, the National Commission for Refugees, Migrants and Internally Displaced Persons reached out to them in the Federal Capital Territory. Here is Ruth Agwele with this report.
Since 2009, majority of the displaced persons who fled their hometown from Gwoza in Borno State as a result of insurgency found their haven in Karushi community in the Federal Capital Territory and have integrated over time. To appreciate their hospitality, the National Commission for Refugees, Migrants and Internally Displaced Persons have come to demonstrate commitment by providing livelihood support to the host community with the distribution of these empowerment items, including refrigerators and generators.
So that spirit of brotherliness and love should exist among all Nigerians.
How I wish that this country will move in a greater situation so that we will have peace and rest of mind in everywhere we find ourselves.
And for this gift today, I also want to thank the Commissioner for him to remember us.
It is a new dawn for the community with this show of generosity that they have also extended as they continue to play host to displaced persons. In Abuja, Ruth Agwele, NTA News.
And we turn our attention now to drug matters, and operatives of the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, NDLEA, have intercepted large consignments of cocaine, Colorado and cannabis concealed in containers with other household items and vehicles imported from Gabon, South Africa and Canada. Now here is a compilation of operations in the past week.
Illicit goods were intercepted at the Tinkan Seaport in Lagos following coordinated intelligence operations by 3 special units of NDLEA. The illicit drugs along with arms and ammunition were seized during joint examination of the 3 containers by the agency's officers and their counterparts from Customs Service and other security agencies. Some of the agency's sniper dogs were also deployed to help identify locations and bags used in concealing the illicit items. Some of the items recovered from the containers include over 1,000 parcels of cocaine and Colorado with a total weight of over 850 kilograms. In the same vein, NDLEA operatives also arrested one Okosun Paul Punit in a related crime and several other suspected criminals at the Murtala Muhammad International Airport, Lagos, as well as Kano and Abia states. NDLEA reaffirmed its commitment in the war against drug abuse, WADA, which is an advocacy campaign of the agency to curtail the use of illicit drugs and other illegal substances. The agency is therefore calling on the general public to support its efforts towards achieving this objective. Ruth Agwele, NTA News.
And the chairman of the Nigerians in Diaspora Commission, NIDCOM, is to represent Nigeria at the 14th Global Forum on Migration and Development holding in Geneva, Switzerland from January 23rd to the 25th. The NIDCOM boss is expected to deliver a lead paper on culture and narratives on migration as related to Nigeria. The summit is under the auspices of Organization of African, Caribbean and Pacific States and Alifa Diaspora. The 3-day summit is focusing on culture as a potent tool for reshaping narratives and driving positive change in the perception of population movement due to climate change, crossed perspectives, and good perceptive. And President of the Senate, Godswill Akpabio, has called for unity among members of the All Progressives Congress APC in Akwa Ibom State to enable the party achieve its goals. Senator Akpabio made the call during a visit to the 3 senatorial districts of the state. And Joy Obani was there.
Senator Godswill Akpabio reiterates the commitment of President Bola Tinubu to the development of Nigeria.
Any politician that wants to survive, that wants to win election, must have both sides and
The Senate President, however, called for unity among party members in the states. Some APC stalwarts urged members to continue to champion the interests of the party.
We are on a mobilization visit in addition to a reconciliation.
It will send a signal that APC has come to stay in Akwa Ibom.
The APC family, it is going to engender peace. It is going to engender togetherness.
We should just relax, support President Tinubu.
The Senate President promised more dividends of democracy in Akwa Ibom State and Nigeria. Joy Ubani, NTA.
And amidst the rhythmic beats of drums and the colorful swirl of traditional attires, now the annual Basa socio-cultural activities unfolded across Nigerian air bases nationwide. Our defense correspondent Najato Tijani reports that it was just as colorful at the 053 NAV camp here in Abuja, where the Minister of State for Defense, Dr. Bello Mohammed, the Chief of the Air Staff, Air Marshal Hassan Abubakar, as well as other dignitaries, called the event a demonstration of unity and diversity.
In the spirit of friendship, it's a win for the air women in a tug of war against wives of personnel, earning them a prize. At the Nigerian Air Force base, Bill Clinton Drive, where on this occasion, defense meets culture.
This event is a part of a military tradition designed to showcase the rich culture and celebrate the unity, strength of our armed forces.
This year's occasion has been redefined, rebranded, and hinged on the promotion of family values, esprit de corps, unit cohesion.
Nowadays, Basa serves as an avenue for Nigerian Air Force officers, airmen and airwomen in each location to herald the new year by showcasing Nigeria's native attires.
Local delicacies and traditional dances were on display, much to the delight of spectators, capped by a special performance by the Nigerian Air Force Band. In Bauchi, Muaz Hassan also reports that the Nigerian Air Force Special Operations Command held a similar event.
One of the most important things I learned, and one of the most important things that we should be taken from here, is the respect for other people's culture and enjoy every bit and phases of the WhatsApp.
Like Basa is crucial as it helps to bring personnel and their families together.
NAV bases nationwide resonated with unity and heritage in the annual Base Cultural Extravaganza, appreciating the unique contributions of each cultural group in Nigeria to nation building. Naja'atu Tijani, NTA News.
Right, and now it's time for sports and Sunday's results. Today being day 9 of the 2023 Africa Cup of Nations in Côte d'Ivoire, well, has not been devoid of, all the energy and expectations, of course, from football fans across Africa. And so I'll be joined by Bade Adeleye, who is right here in the studio with me. Bade, I can feel the energy, I can feel the pulse, and I remember Zinedine Zidane once said that I would rather win one, league championship than, the world champion. I wonder if that's exactly what is playing out among the players in Côte d'Ivoire.
All right, many never felt like, the players really admired, the Africa Cup of Nations. But I can tell you, even Nigeria's Victor Osimhen, who is the reigning African Footballer of the Year, has said that, priority for him is the Africa Cup of Nations. And so it's been loads of interesting things that we've seen in Côte d'Ivoire, and we feel there's even more to come. All right, thank you, Claire. Day 9 of the Africa Cup of Nations in Côte d'Ivoire has not been devoid of shocks, surprises, late comebacks and sending-offs. At the first game of the day, the